the United States bring in people from Gaza?
Well, we are a land of immigrants. Fully support that, and also fully support amnesty for the migrants who have been here for quite some time.
Yeah. Land of immigrants. I love that line. Joining me now, Senator from the great state of Tennessee, Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, we can't get the people who are right next to Gaza to take any of these people in, but we're going to take some of these people in. Good. More security risks. That'll go well.
Jesse, every day I think I've heard it all out of this administration, and the next day there is something else that is going on, and it started on day one of the Biden administration. And now what they're saying is, okay, we're going to take these Palestinians in, we're going to call them refugees, we're going to give them benefits, we're going to give them a residence status. This is something that is absolutely perplexing. We have a wide open southern border. We do not know who is coming in this country. We had people from 170 different countries come in last year. And on top of all of this, 10 million people that have illegally entered the country, now what they're saying is, okay, we're going to take in Palestinians because people in the region do not want them coming into their countries. And there is a reason they do not want them coming into their countries.
Yeah, Jordan has a lot of stories about the reasons why those people are not welcome in anymore. But you know what? Speaking of the illegals, lots of people beyond Gaza have been coming in, as you well know. You talk about it all the time. Millions and millions and millions of them. Now we find out they have jobs at Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub. Americans can't find a job even when they're looking for second ones, and illegals can in this country. Is that how we do it now?
Well, that is how the cartels are doing it. What they have figured out is these people that they're bringing in that have to work their fee out with the cartel. Bear in mind, you don't come across that border unless you pay the cartel. Not everybody has cash up front. So the cartel will put a bracelet on them. It's like an ankle bracelet that you will see on people who are under court orders. And they will bring those individuals in, then those individuals have to work out their fee. So the cartels have figured out they can go to people who have accounts as deliverers or working for Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats, and they can say, hey, we'll split the money and so will go and run your routes for you and we'll split this money. So what has happened is American citizens have people that are not vetted. They're not in the country legally. They may be using this as a chance to case neighborhoods. They're showing up at their door to deliver food. So when you open your door in the middle of the night, it may not be somebody that matches the car and the identity of the Grubhub driver. It might be someone else. And of course, we know that the illegal alien who killed Laken Riley was someone who had been paroled into the country under Joe Biden. And what were they doing? They were working as food delivery.
Golly. Well, that's a wake-up call for everybody. Senator, I don't think people understand that right now it's probably the largest human trafficking operation in world history, human slavery operation. Honestly, that's what these people are in world history, is crossing our southern border. I don't think people understand how bad it is.
And you can look at the numbers, Jesse. In 2019, human trafficking was a $500 million a year business. And that's according to the Department of Homeland Security. That is their stat. And then by last year rolling around, the number that we got was it was a $13 billion a year business. Globally, it has grown to $150 billion a year business. Now, the reason for this is because the cartels do make a lot of money trafficking human beings. As I said last year, people from 170 different nationalities coming to that southern border to illegally enter the country. Out of the 10 million people that have crossed, we have seen a 7,000% increase in Chinese. Last year, 24,000 Chinese. This year so far, in the first 6 months, we've already topped that number. We're at 25,000. Now, you don't leave China on your own accord. You have to get permission from the Chinese Communist Party. So the question all of these big blue sanctuary cities should ask, and the question citizens should ask of their elected representatives, is why is it that China is shipping so many young, male, single individuals, people of fighting age? Why are they sending them into the U.S.?
That is interesting. Why? You know, you got a bill passed about this online human trafficking. What is this about? What's online human trafficking?
Yes, the REPORT Act is going to be signed into law by President Biden. This is something that I have worked on in a bipartisan manner. And NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, this is something that enables them to retain records of checks, the child exploitative material, of pornographic material, and be able to capture these predators and pedophiles and get them into court, get them tried, get them locked up. And this is something that allows for longer retention, for easier transfer to judges and attorneys for these prosecutions. And it also requires that when you have someone online that is a predator or a pedophile, and they are displaying this pornographic material, you are required, social media platforms, to report this to NCMEC, report it to law enforcement, so that we can get these people offline.
Shifting gears to the spending, Senator, I see we have another $6 billion for student loans. I know you voted against it, but there's another $90 billion for every country under the sun, whether we like them or not. Is anybody who works in that town aware of the debt situation and the fact that groceries are up 40% and people cannot afford to live right now in this country? They act like they're not. They act like it's not even happening.
They do act like it's not happening. I guess they're doing food delivery and getting their groceries dropped off at their door. Jesse, if you look at your grocery receipt from 2019 and then you match it up with a receipt from today, same items, same basket of goods, you would have spent $100 in 2019. Today, that is costing you $137. If you were filling up the tank of the car in 2019, to fill that tank up, $54. Today, $84. This shows you what is happening with inflation, with the items, the goods, the services that people use most. We know that Tennesseans are spending about $1,000 a month more just to tread water and just to stay where they were in 2019, 2020.
What is the plan to rein D.C. in, Senator? I realize you're only one senator, but honestly, if these people don't stop, they're just going to smash us all. We can't keep doing this printing and spending and printing and spending. Do they realize that the party's going to stop at some point? And then it's not going to be any fun being in D.C.
What is so interesting, they don't think it's going to happen on their watch. And there is a thing, and my grandmother used to say this all the time, you can be liked or you can be respected. And what they want to do is be liked. They want people to love them. So they just keep cranking out those printing presses, and they think they're going to be long gone before the bill comes due. But the person that's going to be toting the note on all of this out of control spending is our kids and grandkids. And what we are doing to our grandchildren today is capping their opportunities in future years because they're going to be burdened with this national debt. There are some things Congress could do. Number one, and I hope President Trump does this. Number one, freeze federal hiring. Number two, freeze federal salaries. Number three, move federal agencies outside of DC and get them closer to the people that they are supposed to be there to help. Maybe put the USDA out in Kansas, put Health and Human Services down in Tennessee, put the Department of Education in Florida. Take your pick. There are places that can go. Now, the other thing is to do across the board spending cuts every year. Look at each of these cabinet secretaries and say, okay, you need to go in and you need to make a 1% haircut on your appropriations. Save a penny out of a dollar. Or better yet, save 2 pennies out of a dollar. Or better yet, save a nickel out of a dollar. And do it for your kids and grandkids. I thought it was so interesting. On July 10th of 2010, Admiral Mullen was asked what keeps him up at night. His response, our nation's debt. And we have to look at who owns that debt. When you look at the fact that China is one of the top holders, the OPEC nations, those nations, a top holder of our debt, this should give you pause.
Yeah, it sure should. Senator, thank you. I appreciate it, as always.
You got it.
All right. Immigration is a problem. But it's not only a problem here, it's all of the West. And that actually makes it sadder, doesn't it? We have former Miss Britain, Leilani Dowding, joining us next to talk about this issue. Before we talk about that, wow, food delivery drivers now too, huh? Do you have your burn a pistol launcher on you? Do you keep it around you at home? You know, I talk to you about Byrna all the time, about the non-lethal pistol launchers. They shoot these pepper balls. They're incredible. The SWAT teams around the country use them. They're legal in all 50 states, by the way. Everyone can have one. And I talk to you about keeping one on you in your car and when you're out for a jog. Having one around you at the house is not a bad idea either. Making sure your dad who lives alone, making sure he has one, not a bad idea. Your daughter you sent off to college, a really good idea. Go get one. Go get a couple. BYRNA, Byrna.com/Jesse. It's a dangerous world out there. We'll be back.